Good to see you again. I just want to make a statement. God has got a way to change our pain into the greatest blessings. I've seen it, maybe you've seen it. So next time when somebody causes you pain, rejection or whatever, God is going to change that pain into a blessed experience sometimes later in life. This is Bar Yusuf in Egypt. Did Joseph design this huge irrigation project? We're going to leave him for a little while and pay a visit to his lonely, hurting father. Genesis 42 verse 1. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said to his sons, "Why do ye look upon another? Do something. Why do you look at one another?" I love the biblical expressions. And he said, "Indeed, I've heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down to that place and buy for us there, that we may live and not die." The crisis eventually led to the greatest reconciliation in the family. Isn't this wonderful? If you're going through a crisis right now, just remember we serve a God that changes pain into happiness. He changes estrangements into reconciliations. And he said, "Indeed, I've heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down to that place and buy for us there, that we may live and not die." Where can you and I find spiritual bread if we're in need of bread? Spiritual and physical bread. Bread when we face spiritual salvation. How big is God's supply? His supply is greater than the universe. Jesus has unlimited resources to meet every single need of humanity and of your heart, my friend. So Joseph's 10 brothers went down to Egypt to buy grain. Why 10 of them? Why 10 of them? Grain was sold to the heads of families, so each of them could buy for his own family instead of one brother buying only for his family. It was safer, of course, to travel with others to Egypt. The bigger the caravan, the more frightened the potential thieves become. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brother, for he said, "Lest some calamity befall him." Is this also the way you treat your youngest child? Lest some calamity befalls him. And the sons of Israel went to buy grain among those who sojourned, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. What kind of influence did Joseph, the monotheist, the believer in the unseen God, yield to the thousands of customers coming to buy food? Was his shop closed on the Sabbath? Now Joseph was governor over the land, and it was he who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him with their faces to the earth. Governor, shalit, from the root shalat, to reign. Someone with unlimited power. Here he is with his powerless brothers, and he sits with unlimited power. He could have killed his wretched brothers the very moment they entered Egypt. This is normal, you know what I'm talking about. We want to kill our enemies. But what other options were there except retaliation? If you are considering retaliation, just look for another option. Here at Afaras, where it all happened, Loretta says, it develops character and brings great joy when you treat your offenders with kindness. Be positive. The Bible says they bowed down before him with their faces to the earth. Can you see this picture? Of what was Joseph reminded when his brothers bowed down before him? What a moment! Joseph sees the fulfillment of a vision he had revealed to his family 22 years ago. And the picture tells you the story. Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he acted as a stranger to them and spoke roughly to them. Then he said to them, "Where do you come from?" And they said, "From the land of Canaan to buy food." So Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. What was the difference about Joseph at this stage? Then Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamt about them, and said to them, "You are spies. You've come to see the nakedness of the land." How should we interpret this harsh situation, this harsh accusation? Let's ask Joseph what happened 22 years ago. You know, we forgive, but we do not forget. Pain lodges for a lifetime. And he said unto them, "Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamt. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, the sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf." So from this prophetic dream of Joseph, we fast forward to the brothers coming to Egypt. And they said unto him, "Nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all of one man's sons. We are true men, your servants are no spies." Joseph hears from them the wonderful good news that father is still alive. Dad is still around. But what of his brother? What about his brother Benjamin? What happened to him? Now he said to them, "You've come to see the places where our land isn't guarded very well." And they said, "Your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And in fact, the youngest is with our father today, and one is no more." What a pleasant surprise. His father is alive, his brother Benjamin is alive. But Joseph is not sure if that a change of heart and how they relate to Benjamin, positive or negative. But Joseph said to them, "It is as I spoke to you, saying, you are spies." Now, how could Joseph change his mind about his suspicions? You know, sometimes we have to do empirical research. "In this manner you shall be tested. By the life of Pharaoh you shall not leave this place, unless your youngest brother comes here." If only he could see his brother Benjamin again. Oh, he longed to see his little brother. He's going to give them a hard time on this issue. Listen to the following demand. "Send one of you and let him fetch your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh. Surely you are spies." Imagine their plight. They are being accused of being spies. If proven true, they could be executed. These brothers are terrified. So he put them all together in a in prison 3 days. What an experience. They've put their brother in a dark dungeon and now they're in a dark prison. Can you imagine the kind of conversation that went on while they were in prison? I think some of them thought they'll never get out of here. Do you think their cruel actions against Joseph were part of the conversation? For how many days were they locked up? 3 days. How long did Joseph spend in that very same prison? 3 years. 3 years. Then Joseph said to them the 3rd day, "Do this and live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison house, but you go and carry grain for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother to me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die." And they did so. And they said to one another, and Joseph listens to what they're talking. We are very guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. Hey, can you hear them talking about their past misery? How would you handle self-reproach? Maybe you're sitting with self-reproach like these brothers. How do you handle it? How would you like to be treated by the one you've hurt? You want him to forgive you? 22 years ago, they were planning to kill Joseph by starvation and thirst in a dry cistern. At this stage, Joseph is planning to save them and their families. What a paradox. Our attitude is so important. Here at the cistern where they dumped their brother to die, Loretta mentioned something very interesting. While they were experiencing a threat of being killed, they acknowledged their sin. You know, when the chips are down, when darkness shrouds God, we acknowledge sin. So we need this kind of experience. I'm convinced that Joseph took note of their words. He listens carefully to what Reuben is going to say at this stage. And Reuben answered them, saying, "Did I not speak to you, saying, do not sin against the boy? And you would not listen." He's giving them a hard time in front of Joseph. "Therefore, behold, his blood is now required of us. I told you, we're going to die." But they did not know that Joseph understood them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter. Joseph was detecting a change of heart in the lives of his brothers. And he turned himself about from them and wept. He couldn't take this any longer. The entire experience comes back to him, and wept and returned to them again and communed with them and took from them Simeon and bound him before their eyes. Oh, phew, poor Simeon. Now we call this emotion ambivalence. Joseph relives the cruel pain of rejection at that very moment, and at the same time there is joy in his heart to see his brothers after so many years. Ambivalence. Simeon was the most wicked of them all. Besides his cruelty toward Joseph, he was also responsible for the killing of many people at Shechem. Joseph anticipated that his brothers would return with Benjamin in order to release Simeon from prison. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn and to restore every man's money into his sack and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. What a tender-hearted, generous brother. He's like our brother Jesus. This was just the beginning of showering his murderers with love and forgiveness. I think here's a lesson for us. Be kind to your offenders. Be Christ-like, not demon-like. And God will help you to perform it. Joseph did not have the heart to take money from his family. They were so poor at this stage, almost in bankruptcy. I think he thought that the discovery of the money in their bags would convey a story, the story of a kind governor. To give something to someone is divine. So they loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed from there. But as one of them opened the sack to give his donkey feed at the encampment, he saw his money, and there it was, in the mouth of his sack. Reuben cries out, "Who put my money back into my sack?" Initially they were accused of spying the land, and now the possibility of being accused as thieves posed a very big problem. So he said to his brothers, "My money has been restored, and there it is in my sack." Then their hearts failed them. Shame. Then their hearts failed them, and they were afraid, saying to one another, "What is this that God has done to us?" Please don't blame God, blame yourself. And they came to Jacob, their father, unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying. Try to imagine their frantic conversation with their father. I think they were all speaking together simultaneously. The man who is Lord of the land spoke roughly to us. Dad, you should have heard him. And took us for spies. Dad, can you imagine taking us for spies? Took us for spies of the country. But we said to him, "We are honest men. We are not spies." But Dad, he wouldn't believe us. We had 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no more. Where's the other one? Well, they've just been to him. And the youngest is with our father, this day in the land of Canaan. When the death of Joseph was mentioned, the pain of this great loss reappeared. Have you experienced this? Pain reappears. For Jacob, tension is building up, mounting. He urges them to continue with the drama story. Then the man, the Lord of the country, said to us, "By this I will know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me. Take food for the famine of your household and be gone. Hurry up." The worry and pain in the old man is escalating exponentially. How will he ever handle the loss of Simeon? But another shock was on its way. "And bring your youngest brother to me, so I know that you are not spies, but that you are honest men. I will grant your brother to you, and you may trade in the land." A cry of intense pain fills the air that moment. No, 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 my sons. You can't do this to me. I will never let Benjamin go with you. Then it happened as they emptied their sacks that surprisingly each man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid, they panicked. This was another shock, both to the other 11 brothers as well as to Jacob. How is the old man going to handle this one? How do you cope when one shock after another devastates you? Life at times can be very challenging, and we desperately need God to help us to cope. Maybe this is happening to you right now, and I feel sorry for you. While visiting Jacob's last resting place in Hebron, I thought of his 22 years of chronic pain. He was worried about the safety of his boys. Would he ever see them again? The governor could kill all of them. Joseph is gone. Simeon may die in prison. And now he may lose Benjamin and the rest of his sons. I'm smiling inside of Machpelah, where Jacob was buried. But there are times when a load of heartaches can snatch away the smile in one moment. We have certain emotional thresholds, as you've discovered. And what about poor old Jacob? What about these thresholds? And Jacob, their father, said to them, crying, "You have bereaved me. Joseph is no more. Simeon is no more. And you want to take Benjamin." Then he cries with a big cry, "All these things are against me." And he wept, and his frame shook. All these things are against me. The great hero of the Old Testament loses his hold on God. He weeps and weeps like a little baby. A total burnout caused by chronic pain. Into the experience of all there come times of keen disappointment and utter discouragement. Have you been there? Days when sorrow is the portion, and it is hard to believe that God is still the kind benefactor of his earthborn children. Days when troubles harass the soul, till death seems preferable to life. I know so many friends who committed suicide. And you know some who committed suicide. But this statement says, it is then that many lose their hold on God. Could we at such times discern with spiritual insight the meaning of God's providences? We should see angels seeking to save us from ourselves, striving to plant our feet upon the foundation of a foundation more firm than the everlasting hills. A new faith, new life would spring into being. Don't be irresponsible. Wait for new faith, new life that would spring up in your innermost soul. If pain and disappointments paralyzed your spirit, if disasters of life smashed your heart in 1,000 pieces, if you are emotionally drained and giving up on life, and if you cry like Jacob, everything is against me, I just want to tell you that everything is not against you, but actually everything, as God, and God as well, is in your favor. Just hold out for a little while, and the sun will shine again, my friend. The Savior is waiting to enter your heart while your heart is breaking. Why don't you let him come in? There's nothing in this world to keep you apart. What is your answer to him? Time after time he has waited before, and now he's waiting again to see if you're willing to open the door. He wants to walk into your pain. Oh, how he wants to come in. If you'll take one step toward the Savior, my friend, you'll find his arms open wide. Receive him in all your darkness will end. Within your heart he'll abide. Time after time he has waited before, and now he's waiting again to see if you're willing to open the door. Oh, he wants to come into your pain. Please let him come in. He's more than willing to help you, my dear friend. Father in heaven, you're so gracious. And when pain overwhelms us, help us to just hang on out there, just trusting you until the pain is gone and the joy takes the place of pain. Thank you for the Bible stories with its beautiful lessons. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.